Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. I am your host, Al Richards, and I'm really excited to have our guest on today. But before I introduce her, I just want to say, hey, I want to give a huge thank you to Emergo Academy. That's Emergo, Emergo Academy. This just isn't just another program, it's a life-changing, brain-first approach to recovery. You guys have heard me say at the beginning of every show, really every week, that I've personally taken this training, and Dave and Susan Kenny are just phenomenal, really, guys. These guys are amazing. I took it so I could be certified as a crisis and recovery coach. But what is really cool about this is if you're not even interested in wanting to become a crisis and recovery coach, just taking this course will help you in your everyday life. It has helped me grow in so many ways, especially when I lost my leg last year, had that below the knee amputation. What I learned and the coaching that I took and learning how to sit with my emotions and learning how to figure out lessons behind each one of them just really helped me get through a lot of the hardship with it. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have bad days, because I did. However, because of their training, it helped me not stay stuck there. So again, guys, I would highly recommend checking them out. Go to emergoacademy.com. Again, that's EMERGO academy.com. Check them out, see what they're all about. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest, Raven Writing Bird, right? I said that right. A
Yes.
lot of times I can mess up last names and even
Yes.
first names. But Raven, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
absolutely. It's been a long time coming. And today we're going to be talking about choosing recovery in life hardships. So I think you and I had a conversation well over a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, over the
Yeah.
phone.
I was getting my nails
Yeah,
done.
you was getting your nails
Yeah.
done. That's right. So
Yeah.
yeah, she was getting a pedicure while we were talking on the phone,
Yes.
and she was telling me a lot about her story and her life. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have you come on the show. And a lot of times people refer me to other individuals. Did somebody refer us? Because usually if they do, I make a note of it. But or
You
did
know,
I reach out to you?
I you added me on Facebook.
Okay.
I was commenting on some things, I believe. You added me on Facebook and then you messaged me and asked for my story.
Yeah, asked if you'd come on. And
Yeah.
now Raven's been really nervous this morning, but we've been sitting here talking for about 20 minutes. I think she's chilled out quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so to let our listeners know, let's just start off by what the title was, choosing recovery in life's hardships. What did you mean by that when we decided to pick that title?
Well, I chose recovery over ruining my life and continuing to do drugs.
Yeah.
And I chose recovery. It's been the best decision I've ever made.
Has it been a rough road for you at the same time?
I've gone through some things, a lot of loss, but I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, it's been a rough road,
Yeah.
but I was so happy to be sober and clean finally and in recovery that it was worth it. I chased my recovery like I chased drugs. So,
Yeah. I've heard a lot of my guests say that.
yeah.
And a lot of them too are afraid of the not knowing of what recovery is going to be like, right? Because it is a scary thing of not. I mean, we spoke a little bit about it before we started recording about, even going places, right? And not being able to have alcohol or, I mean, for me, even it has been so long since I've gone to a concert. If I went to a concert today, I don't know what it would be like to go to a concert without snorting cocaine and drinking,
Yeah.
because I always did that when I went to concerts. That was part of buying the ticket, right? I had to have this other stuff to go feeling like to have a good time. But yet I have friends that go to concerts all the time that don't drink or drug and they have a blast,
You're gonna
So
have to go to a concert.
I need to go to a
Yes.
concert, right? I mean, it's
With
been
people
years.
who are like you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to Post Malone and Jelly Roll.
Are you?
I won't be drinking.
Yeah, that would be a good concert to go
Yeah,
to,
perfect.
because those two have gone through their shit too.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Huh. So, you hear I've heard so many individuals say that recovery was a rough road, but it was worth it. What was the hardest part for you?
For me, I It really, honestly, it wasn't hard for me because
Okay.
when I finally got off meth, I had gone to jail. And before I went to jail, I was in a psychosis for about 2 months. So when I was in jail, the first week in jail, I was still in that psychosis. I thought they
Hmm.
were serving us human meat.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had just been praying and praying. One day I woke up and I was completely normal, completely normal.
Hmm.
Like it was all a bad dream. And it was a horrible one.
Gosh, I couldn't
It,
imagine.
it was really bad. And so once I woke up from that, it was like, okay, I survived that. I don't ever want to go through that again. And it was the drugs or whatever it was, but I know that I
Yeah.
came out of it and I didn't want to go back. I was happy to be sane.
Do you feel like, and you don't have to answer this. Some people, well, most people answer, but again, you don't have to if you don't want to. But do you feel that spiritual side of things is what really switched everything around? Because you said that you prayed and then all of a sudden things just changed for you, right?
I
You were
woke up and I was
yeah,
normal. Like I wasn't afraid of the guards. I didn't think they were all in. I thought everyone was involved in some crazy things. I would have thought you were if you were around back then.
yeah.
So it was
Huh.
wild. It was a wild trip.
Having the spiritual part of things, I'd like to kind of stay on that subject because I would say the majority of my guests who are now in long-term recovery, how much that spiritual stuff has really helped them. Some have fallen into religions, which if that works for them, that works for them. Some people have the higher power, which they call God, some the universe. I've heard of somebody saying they don't believe in a higher power other than a goldfish, and their higher power is a goldfish. But again, it's what worked for
Whatever
them,
works,
right?
right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who am I to say that's bullshit? Because if it's getting them to where they want to be, it gets them to where they want to be. However, do you feel since you've had that spiritual side, because I know it has for me, when I lost my job in 2009 due to a dirty UA, I mean, I lost a 24-year career.
Wow.
And it ended up being the biggest blessing for me because I really found out who I was as an individual. And it really started my whole journey into, I mean, I hit my knees 2 or 3 weeks after that for the first time since I was probably 13. And I
Really?
don't know how long I sat, kneeled on my knees, just alligator tears pouring down my face while I'm praying, going, why is this happening? I lost a 24-year career. This is all I've known for 24 years. Not knowing then, but connecting the dots backwards now, I see exactly why. And it's because it built my spirituality, right? I have so much more faith and I feel like I'm tapped in pretty good. Not 100%, but I'm tapped in really good with my spiritual side of things, and it helps me on my journey. Have you found that out with yourself since that time when things changed for you in jail?
Yes. I I believe a lot of things though.
Okay.
I believe there's a God. I believe you can talk to the universe. I believe in my native ways that my dad taught me, lighting sweetgrass sage, speaking to the creator. I
Yeah.
believe my ancestors are still watching over me. And with some of the things I've been through, whether it's ancestors, angels, God, the universe, I know there's something out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I didn't even realize you was Native American.
And my dad was full-blooded Cree
Okay.
from the Chippewa Cree Reservation of Rocky Boy, Montana, and my mom was Caucasian.
Wow.
But I am an enrolled member of the tribe.
Holy
My
cow.
dad spoke the language.
You
He
know,
was
and
a medicine man. He believed in traditional medicine and all of that. And my mom was a nurse. So,
so kind of both sides of that
well,
thing. Yeah.
modern medicine,
Yeah.
native medicine.
And I would have to go more towards the native medicine because they understood plants, they understood how things worked. I mean, they were blessed in so many different ways, and they respected and loved all that stuff, right? And of course, you go to other countries and they have their same type, right? Like
Mhm.
Japan and China, and they have all their stuff that has really worked. The Tibetans, monks,
Yeah,
and it's been around for thousands of years, and
and
I
it works.
I and it does work. And I really like to see what I'm seeing now where more people are getting into it. I mean, I know of two friends of mine who worked in the industry who have
Mhm.
now left the Western medicine and now going in more to the holistic and natural stuff
Right.
because of what they have seen, which we won't get into that on the show, but that's a whole different
Yeah,
subject. However, yeah, for me, I feel like it helps a lot and I'm huge in it.
I do too. I think it works. My
Yeah.
dad was always, he was a well-respected man through Indian country. And I say Indian country because that's exactly how they worded it on his obituary.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, I have to throw this in. And I'm not saying it just because you're Native American, because I really do feel in a lot of our team members. So last year at our Healing Utah Success Summit, there was some Native Americans called wild salmon, and I saw them at the Soap to Hope thing one time, and I reached out to my friend Jackie, and she was able to get a hold of them, and they agreed to come and open up our event last year. And I tell you what, excuse me, I feel that they literally kicked our whole event off in such a spiritual way because they did their drum, and then one of their elders came and did a prayer, and he did it in the native tongue, and then he did it in our English tongue. They got a standing ovation. We had a hoop dance done as
Oh,
well,
wow.
which was just freaking amazing. But all of it was so, I mean, I got good bumps, good God bumps right now because of it, but it set everything off. And I really do feel like it just brought the spirit into our whole event. And everyone was being watched over. And the energy and the spirituality that was in that room last year was just phenomenal.
Are you guys gonna do it again?
Yeah, we're planning our sixth one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had a couple people say that we needed to invite them back
I
to
think
see
so.
if they'd come back and do it again.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something that was really, truly amazing and cool to see. And a couple times I closed my eyes when I heard them doing their chanting or in their drums and just going picturing myself like back in those days when that's all sit around a fire and just and
Makes
do
you
that, right?
emotional,
Oh
kind
my
of, huh?
gosh, it does make you
I always get
emotional.
emotional when I hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Because, and again, we go back to that spirituality, right? They're tapped into it so deep. I mean, we joked about it a little bit about peyote at the start,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I mean, they would take that and they would tap into their spiritual side of things, and it would show them things that a lot of us don't see, but it's stuff that I think we need to see at times.
My dad used to conduct peyote meetings. He was able to carry peyote around with him
Yeah, yeah. So he
and
was
stuff.
licensed to be
Yeah.
able to do all that.
Mhm.
Huh. So you do definitely feel like that really helped you get to the point that you're at today then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whether not so much as if it was my even just my prayers, it might have been my dad praying for me
Mm-hmm.
or my family to get me where I was at. I was never ready to quit, it seemed like.
Yeah. Until that time.
Until I went to jail finally. I had gone to jail a few times, but this time they made me stay. And I remember the cop that took me to jail. I had called the cops on myself because I thought there were people after me. And this time that I called the cops, I told them, I'm like, there's people coming, they're going to get me. And I knocked on some random person's door. They called the cops. The cop came and he said, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to take you to jail on this warrant. If they don't keep you, I want you to take this bus token and go find a rehab to get into.
Well, an officer did that, huh?
Officer did that. And I need to thank him. I have the report in the car.
Wow. Do you remember his name?
I don't, but his badge number and everything is on the paperwork I got.
Huh.
So I'd like to go tell him thanks because they kept me.
Yeah.
When I saw the judge, he told me, I think you need to serve your sentence and it looks like you need to dry out. I was like, okay.
Hmm.
Of course, I was upset, but
Right.
once I came out of the psychosis, I was actually happy to be in jail. I went to every meeting, I went to all the churches, I watched a movie for the first time in a long time. And it was I Can Only Imagine. Have you seen that movie?
Only Imagine?
Only Imagine, or
I may
I Can
have. I
Only
don't
Imagine. It's
I
by
don't
that Christian singer. It's about his story. It was a good show.
I don't remember movies very well, and I don't watch too many of
And
them,
that was
but
the first time I had really had a good cry in jail. And I remember laughing for the first time in jail, like being present, being myself.
yeah.
And yeah.
So, I mean, with you saying this stuff, Raven, it almost sounds like to me like there was a lot of new firsts for you that a lot of people, as in the recovery community, they call normies, right? I don't think there is such thing as a normie. I don't care for that word,
I haven't
but
heard that. I'm pretty new to
yeah,
the
yeah,
recovery. I'm
and I've
pretty
heard
new.
people say, my past wife used to say that all the time. You're a normie, even though she knew had my battle, but yeah, it's like there are all these new things that come into your life that you don't realize.
Mhm.
It's like the first time that my wife got hearing aids. Her hearing was so bad for so long, and all of a sudden she's just like, "Oh my gosh, do you hear that?" It's like, "What? Did you hear that, Robin?" I'm like, "Yeah," but she got so excited because she
Right,
couldn't
because she couldn't
hear it
hear.
before, kind of like in recovery, right? You
Yeah.
you drown yourself so much, and you're really just not really, what word am I looking for? You're not even present where life is at because you're just somewhere else.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden you wake up and you start realizing,
Like
oh
you're
my gosh,
reborn. You're like you just notice scents, colors, the sky,
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I even remember Janan, when she got sober, she was just so amazed even with the mountains. She goes, I never realized how beautiful these mountains were. And I was like, you've
Mhm.
lived here all your life. But then I got it too because I moved away and I was transferred to Kentucky for 3 years. And I remember the first time I flew back after 2 years of being gone and just went, oh my gosh, these freaking amazing mountains. Oh my
Right.
gosh, I've missed you so much. They're so beautiful. And now there's not a day that goes by, and I can literally say that honestly. There's not a day that goes by that
You can see him out there
I
now.
don't, yeah, yeah, that I don't stare at them. I look at them all the time. And we talked about, you've seen where I've gone on hikes and stuff, and
Mhm.
that's my church, because that's the church God built. And,
Right.
and I love being there. I just love being in those mountains
It's
because I feel so
beautiful.
spiritual up there. So it's cool. What else have you noticed in your life that has been almost like a first for you since you've been on your recovery journey?
I'd have to say a lot of things. Everything. Holidays with my kids and just watching my kids grow up. My older ones are already pretty much grown up,
Yeah.
but my little one taking her to dance and being present because before, even while like in between pregnancies and stuff, I was a functional tweaker that
Okay.
I was using it to work extra hours and have all the energy to be a super mom and everything like that. So now I'm actually just present in their lives.
And 100% present. Huh?
Yep,
That's got to be such a great feeling
it is. It's a really good
to know
feeling.
that you're there, and then also your kids knowing that their
That
mom is back and that they're there, that you're there for them.
yes, it's
Wow.
very good.
So when did your journey start with the addiction? Was it at a pretty young age? Because I know a lot of individuals that come on the show, it usually happens around that puberty time, somewhere like around, I think my youngest one was 9.
9.
And I had a friend who actually kind of started at 6. But most of the individuals, most guests that come on the show have been like around 11, 12, 13, and 14 years of age.
Mine started around 13,
Okay.
but it was alcohol. And I would tell my mom I was going to go stay at my friend's house. And I did, but she didn't know that her dad was buying us alcohol
Oh, geez.
every weekend and we were drinking over there. I didn't really try any hard drugs until I was 14. I tried crank. I know that sounds bad, but
I did
I
crank when I lived in
did you
Phoenix.
did you?
Yes. Yeah, just admitting it. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did that. And then I remember I was up for a while and I started hallucinating. And I lied and told my mom I took acid.
Mm.
And so she took me to the hospital. They gave me a Valium and whatnot. But I drank quite a bit from 14 on. It wasn't every day, but it was every weekend,
Yeah.
and it was a lot. I feel like that's normal. Well, maybe not normal behavior for most kids, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of
Yeah.
kids.
Well, a lot of kids experiment, right?
Yeah.
It's going to the parties and things like that, I
But
mean,
mine was mostly alcohol
huh,
up until I graduated high school. And then I started doing cocaine. And then someone introduced us to meth, I'd say in 2020 around there.
hmm.
And that's when I started just doing meth.
And once you did that, it got a hold of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
I've
a hold
I've
of me.
heard that it gets you pretty quick.
It does. Gives
Meth
you
and crack and
energy. I did
yeah,
crack once for a couple months. Well, for a couple
for a
months.
couple months, just gave it a try, right?
Yeah,
uh,
for a couple months, but then I didn't like it made us crazy too. We were just in the bathroom smoking crack.
yeah.
We would smoke crack until it ran out, go get a cheeseburger, come back, smoke more crack. And then it was after that that I started using meth
Hmm.
more because I didn't like the whole paranoid crack feeling.
Did you notice? Well, and probably not, but I'd like to ask this question anyway. Did you notice that your life was quickly spiraling in the wrong direction?
No, I
Not
thought
at
I was
all.
just having fun and experimenting
Yeah.
and that it was okay. And at that time, I had no kids. So I thought it was fine.
I think that's what gets a lot of us, the majority of us, right? That we
Mhm.
don't realize that it's slowly. I like to use eagle talons because I love eagles, one thing, and then they're just so strong and the talons are so sharp that they just slowly just squeeze into you tighter and tighter and tighter. And before you know it, you don't know how to get those damn things out.
Yeah.
And it's all because of, yeah, we just do it. I mean, it's like I did for 8 years every weekend, cocaine and alcohol every Friday and Saturday night, like clockwork for 8 years. Even the 3 years I dated my wife, she didn't even know I was snorting cocaine. She knew I drank because we drank together, but we just social drank, had friends come over and play cards or go out in the garage and shoot darts and things like
Yeah.
that. But you don't realize where it's slowly taking you. You just think it's kind of a normal life, right? And you're just having fun and enjoying it.
And then next thing you know, you're under a bridge and eating out of a dumpster.
Yeah. Or losing your kids
Mhm.
and losing a 24-year career. And
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And that's, gosh, I'm one, and I've said this on the show many, many times that I was one that would go downtown and I would see the unsheltered down there in the attics. And, I'd say my little piece, get your shit together, you freaking loser. What the hell's wrong with you? And then I watched my wife go through it and I watched her become homeless. And a lot of it too was starting the show and having guests come on and tell their story. And I started opening my eyes really, really quickly that everyone has a story behind it, right? And it's not like we wake up one day and just say, hey, I'm going to be an addict, or I'm going to be an alcoholic, or I'm going to be unsheltered. You know, we don't realize it until we've already dug that pit so damn deep. We don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And now I go downtown and I see individuals and I'm like so curious. I'm like, what is your story? What got you here? Because I know you didn't choose this life. There may be some. I mean, I've heard some people say, yeah, I'm good with this. I'm happy being here where I'm at. Now whether they're lying to me or they're lying to themselves, I don't know. But the majority of them, they're like, I really don't want to be here. You know?
It's a carefree life when you're out there.
Yeah.
You don't have bills. You don't have, I mean, I ended up out there, but it was free. I didn't have to answer to anyone. I was so caught up in the drugs at the time that I didn't mind being out there.
Wasn't it scary though too, as being a woman, right? Being out there and not having, I guess, protection of a home or loved ones around you.
Yeah, there were some scary times, but I always stayed close to 7-Eleven or somewhere I could run
Okay.
if I needed to.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I got a boyfriend out there, and he wasn't, he was kind of a protector, but he was also what kept me out there longer, I feel like.
Okay.
And Like a lot of the times he would leave me out there while he would go stay in a room and I would stay on at the car wash on Ninth West, and I slept there a lot. It's on Ninth West and North Temple.
Hmm.
I would stay back by the vacuums
Wow.
with other homeless people.
Winters had to have been hard.
Yeah. I always had a blanket. I would walk around with it over my head and I would just walk until the sun would come up so I wouldn't freeze.
So basically stay up at night and then sleep during the day where it was a little warmer.
Sometimes I would sleep.
Wow.
I felt like I was awake for a long time.
Gosh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine, and did you ever think even at those times when you are walking around going, how the hell did I get here? Did you ever think that? Did it ever come across, or are you just kind of still stuck in where
I've
you're at?
actually, since you asked me to come on here, I've been
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out every little step that got me there.
Okay.
And it's kind of getting there. I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting it now. I mean, it all started from when I was younger to meeting the wrong people. And I just ended up out there. And I always said I would never leave my kids. I would never use a needle. I would never do this. And everything I said I would never do, I did. So my motto is to never say never because it's most likely going to happen if you do.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that
Yeah.
because my past wife said the same thing many times. I'll never be homeless. I'll never let it get the best of me, and I'll never go to jail. And it happened. All of it happened. I had a friend, Rachel Liddell, who was on the show, I don't know, maybe a little over a month ago, a month and a half ago. And she said something to me that just really, really resonated with me that she battled addiction. And she goes, Al, I would much rather be the addict than be a loved one of someone who's battling addiction. And I was like, wow, that's to me, that was very powerful to say because of what those on the other side go through, right? And you may have talked to your kids or your kids may have talked to you, of saying, and we talked a little bit about it before the show that maybe sometime they'd like to come on and share their side. And I've had kids come on and share their side of things before. And my good friend Tiffany Nacarado, who is very well known in the recovery community, and her daughter Tala came in on when I had my studio. And boy, I tell you what, we were all in tears on that show because I didn't realize Tala was going to come on, but she came to the studio and Tiffany asked if she could come on. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And we had enough room for her. And Tiffany started telling her story. And you could tell her daughter wanted to stay. And Tiffany kept grabbing her hand saying, sweetie, it's okay. It's okay. If you want to say something, it's okay. And finally she did about halfway through the show. And to see, gosh, I get a little emotional thinking about it. To see the bond and everything that happened at that time, because Tiffany left her kids, and she didn't leave her kids because the drugs and stuff was more important. She left the kids because she didn't want her kids to be around what she was around. And her kids thought that she left them because the drugs and the streets was more important. And to see that when Tiffany came out and said, no, that's not the reason why, is because I felt like I was protecting you by doing this. It's not really that I wanted the drugs and alcohol. It's just that's where my life was at. And to see that freaking bond come together, it was such an amazing thing to witness. And again, that's why I keep doing this show, is just to be able to see these miracles and see this stuff happen like that.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've gotten a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot. I would like to help people, and I've never been asked to share my story until now, but I know when I got out of jail, I wanted to share it. I was so happy to be clean. And I was even telling my probation officer, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to make videos and I'm going to help people. And I just got so caught in surviving, finding a place to live, you know, getting a job, getting my life together, getting all my kids back to. I kind of just pushed my recovery, like meetings and stuff, and helping people to the side until you got a hold of me.
Hmm. Wow.
I just haven't had time working, paying bills. That's all I do is work and go home
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go to the Cali sober meetings on Tuesday. And that's new. So
But that's a step though, right? I mean,
yes.
that's just another step, not one step. You've made a decision to do something and you made that step towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think God, the universe, makes everything fall in place where it's supposed to be.
Especially when your intentions are right. Yeah.
And we're all connected somehow.
Oh my gosh. Amen to that. Yes, we are.
We
We
are
are
all
all definitely
connected.
connected in one way or another.
Yep.
You know, I saw something really, really cool the other day on social media that somebody took ashes of somebody that was cremated and put it under a microscope. And it said, if this does not tell you that we are all part of the universe, I don't know what else will. And literally, it looked like something from in space.
Really?
Yeah, it was so like way out there in the galaxy, right? It was so freaking cool to see.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, if that is real, what he's showing, if it's not like a fake type thing, that is really, really interesting.
We can always test. I have a bunch of ashes on my mantle.
Hmm. I've
We
got
just need a
I've got a little bit of
microscope.
my wife. Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
test it.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool to put some underneath there and really see. Have you heard of Dr. Emoto?
No.
So Dr. Emoto, I heard of him many years ago, and he did a water test. And this goes to show, and I'm basing this off of what you just said, right? When our intentions are good, God, the universe, whatever your higher power is for each individual, things are put in front of us to help us along our journey. I like to call them breadcrumbs, right? God puts these breadcrumbs out and we go by and we pick them up along the way. And then eventually we realize we have a whole loaf of bread, you know? And Dr. Emoto did this test with water where he had petri dishes and he put water in the petri dishes. But before he did that, he got a piece of tape and a Sharpie and he wrote words on each petri dish. Started with negative words like Satan, um, anger, lies, all these negative stuff. And then he took petri dishes and put positive stuff on like love, inspiration, caring, and he froze them. Then he took them out and he sliced them and he put them underneath microscopes. All the ones that had negative words, all the crystals were distorted, nasty looking. All the ones that have very, very positive wording are some of the most beautiful crystals you could ever see.
I think I have heard something like this
It
before.
is if you look
I
up
just
Dr.
didn't know.
Emoto
I
water
just didn't know
test,
Dr. Emoto.
yeah, and so I don't drink water out of the tap. I go to a water store in Murray that I really really like, and their water is extremely good. It's been tested and it's just amazing water. And I pour the 5 gallon into a 3 gallon. And on my 3 gallon thing that I put in my fridge, I have love, inspiration, and kindness on it. So while my water's sitting in that jug, I feel that those emotions, those positive words are being put in my water that I drink every single day. And I've had those words on there for, oh my gosh, 5 or 6 years, if not longer.
I heard something similar before. I just didn't know the Dr. Emoto thing. And when I water my mom's plant, I talk like, or I'll
Talk to
talk to the
them.
water and then I'll water the plant.
That's cool.
I'm always
Huh.
afraid I'm gonna kill her plant. I'm so
Yeah,
I I do that.
don't kill my mom's plant. Be healthy for her, right?
Be healthy.
Huh.
Yeah, my mom's plant's name is Linda.
That's
I
cool.
even named it. So,
Nothing wrong with that.
right.
I only talk to my plants when I water it, but I never thought of talking to the water.
Mhm.
Well, you may have
And
just
if there's
taught
a
me
full
something.
moon, you talk to your water and then go out, put your water outside and then drink it the next day.
Huh. Is that kind of
But
like
talk to your water first.
talk to it?
Like say positive things about yourself
Okay.
or goals you have. Mm. Just something I started doing last year.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I started doing something last year that's similar to that, but it's not with water. I wake up and the first thing in the morning, what I do is I flip on the light and I look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I love you and that I am grateful and that I am full of gratitude. And I thank God for waking me up. And it has done such amazing things for me. It just starts my day out
I need to try that.
just in a perfect way. Now the trick is to make sure you look at yourself. And the reason why I say that, and I've shared this on the show before, probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years ago, I was invited to a class of a guy that I know that started coaching, and he gave us homework. Now, me, as soon as I heard homework, I'm like, yeah, shit, I ain't doing it because I never was a homework person, even in school,
Yeah.
you know. But he says, I want you to memorize these 7 positive affirmations. And then I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say them. And I thought, well, shit, this is a piece of cake. I got this because I've been doing affirmations for a while now, right? I got it. I started doing it. And then I realized every time I went to say it, I looked away and then I'd look back. And then I'd go to say it again and I'd look away and then I'd look back. And I'm going, I don't even believe what I'm telling me. I know I don't believe it because I'm looking away. I'm not looking at myself because I don't believe what I'm saying. So it took me some time. And I was talking to somebody at a 10-year birthday thing last weekend, a friend of mine by the name of Chris. And you may know Chris. He was Amber's ex.
Was it a recovery thing?
Yeah, Adam
He
Bacter's
invited me to
10-year birthday party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go because I thought I had to work. Then I got canceled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was talking to Chris about it, and he was saying, yeah, the hardest thing that's for me is to really stare at myself. And I said, yeah, it was that way for me too. It took some time and some practice, but now I get up every morning and I tell myself I love you, because we're so hard on ourselves, right? Especially individuals who have battled addiction, right? The shame that we feel, the disrespect, the bridges that we burnt and the what ifs and all that stuff. And until we can get to that point, at least my version of it is where we can actually sit down and go, I love myself and I am so grateful for who I am today. Because then I feel that allows us to really give more of that love and that care to other individuals
Yeah,
as well. But it's hard for us to do it if we don't even feel it ourselves,
that's true.
right?
That's something I need to work on myself.
Yeah.
I've gained a lot of weight since I have been in recovery, but I do have my mind back, and that's better.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
you'll
wish I
get to
could get
wherever.
addicted to exercise. It hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked
Not
yet?
so far, no.
Huh. We'll start out slow.
And I've tried everything.
Have you?
Yes. I was even taking a GLP-1 and I lost like 28 pounds, but as soon as I quit taking it, I gained almost all of it right back. So I'm not going to do that
I've
again.
heard other people say that. It does work, but I've heard that if you do
And it makes you
quit,
feel weak.
really,
Like you're dragging yourself around. Me, anyways.
wow.
So I quit. I'm fasting now. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Well, fasting helped me a little bit. I've
Did
gained
it?
about 3 pounds since winter's hit. I usually gain around maybe 1 to 2, but this year I've gained like 3.
Really?
And I don't know if it has to do with my age, but I'm not liking it too much because I didn't have my full 6-pack, but I had about a 4. And now it's like a 1. It's like, what the hell's
I don't know
happening?
if I could ever have a 6-pack
I'm sure you could. Sure you could.
of
Yeah.
soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Maybe if I try,
Yeah.
maybe by the time I'm 50 something, I'll be one of those cool moms.
Yeah. Cool, Moz.
Cool moms with a 6-pack.
You could be like my friend Nettie, who, oh, Nettie, if you hear this, forgive me. I think she's from Colombia. I think beautiful, beautiful lady. And we've hiked together. And one time we went on a hike and it was Lake Blanche. And I turned around and I turned around and looked, and she had this little teeny tiny Coke can. She put a straw in it. And I'm like, I have never ever seen anyone drinking a Coke with a straw on a hike in the mountains before.
Really? That would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. So I still tease her every once in a while. I'm just like, are you still drinking Coke out of a can with a straw? And she's like, yep, I am. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah,
It tastes better that way.
I guess so. Yeah. So what else have you seen that has been amazing for you since you've been on this recovery ride?
I would have to say, not really the recovery ride, but
Okay.
all the things I've overcome or that I've had, the loss that I've had to deal with that would, I feel like could have sent me into a relapse, but didn't. Was I lost my dad November 1st, 2020 to COVID. And I hadn't seen him for years.
Hmm.
And I was planning to go see him. Then COVID hit and he died in Montana in a hospital. And no one was able to go be with him because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I
That
lost
time.
him. And then David, who was I actually married the street guy. That's a whole nother story. I married
Okay.
him out. I married him February 8th of 2020 after I got out of jail. But I wasn't even married to him for a year. We got divorced because he relapsed. But he took me to Montana to my dad's, his wake. So we drove from here to there for that and came right back. We even slept in the car
Wow.
in Great Falls and went to his wake and came back. And then finding out my mom had cancer in late 2020. And then she passed away May 15th, 2022. And she was my best friend. Losing her, even now, it still gets me.
Yeah.
Like she was my main supporter through everything in life all the time. So I lost her May 15th, 2022. Was able to stay in recovery. And then on August 26th, 2022, my nephew, through marriage, took a pill and he died. He was only 18 or 19.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, 2023, my best friend who saw me through all of this died from an overdose from fentanyl and meth. And I didn't even know he was using. I had no idea. I mean, he was cooking and he seemed normal to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was using. And then on April 12th last year, I was sitting down to enjoy some chicken wings and I got a phone call. They said they were from the Cascade County Coroner's Office. And they were like, do you know John Cummins? And I said, yes. And they're like, we hate to tell you this over the phone, but he passed away. Like he's dead. And that was my brother.
Oh my
So
gosh.
all this loss
And all family.
in all family. And
Jeez.
and I'm still in recovery. But I promised my mom and myself that I would never use again. While she died at home. We were living in my brother's house and she died at home and I promised her that I would be okay. That I would continue.
That's a hell of a promise.
Mhm.
And good on you for
Yeah.
keeping that promise.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure at times it's not been easy.
Honestly, the psychosis I was in was so crazy. I would be afraid. I won't say never because we've
Right.
already done that before,
Yeah.
but how scared I was in that psychosis, I wouldn't want to use again because I would probably go right back there and who knows if I would snap out of it
Yeah. You
or
could
if I
stay
would
there.
die. They're putting fentanyl and everything. I can't risk that.
Holy cow.
I'm actually living life and I love life.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and look at all the blessings that have come out of it.
yeah.
I mean, right? There's been some hardship, of course, but my version is I feel like we have to hit some darkness and go through some darkness to really find our light. And I think life continues. My audience hears me say this a lot, but I call them shitballs. Life is going to throw shitballs at us. We dodge a few, and a few hit us square in the face. And when we realize that we can get through it, and we realize the resilience that we have. I have three beautiful, amazing grandkids. And when they were just born and little babies, it had been so long since, because my daughters now are grown women, it's been so long since I've watched these little babies grow, right? And be amazed and look at life the way that they look at life and see, because everything's so new to them, right? They're sponges, they just absorb everything. And I've come to realize, even being at the age that I'm at, that that's where we need to stay. We need to stay. I mean, yes, we got to be adults, right? We got to take care of things and stuff, but to be able to have that kid mindset, because when we're kids, nothing stops us, right? If we broke an arm or broke a leg, hell, that wouldn't keep us indoors. We'd still be
We're
outside
still
doing
gonna
whatever
go
the hell we was going to
outside.
do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling somebody today that when I had my brace, when I was crippled, when I was a kid, I had like the Forrest Gump brace on my left leg, and I had this big platform shoe on my right. And I used to stick my leg straight out, and I'd be riding my bike with just pedaling with one leg. It never stopped me. But then when we become adults and life hits us and our emotions, we don't want to deal with the emotions. And so we find other ways to deal with the emotions, whether it's using drugs or alcohol or porn or gambling or eating or
Food.
yeah, food or gaming or shopping or work, right? There's so many other ways that we handle things, and some are, according to society, are okay and others are not, which I don't know. I think it's all the same, right? The brain is still affected the exact same way.
Yeah.
But we can learn by these kids and just be more resilient. And when we do realize what we've gone through, I mean, look at everything you've gone through since 2020, and you've not gone back, right? And it goes to show the strength that you have inside you that probably at one time you didn't realize that you even had, but you have it.
I was almost forced to quit by God, the universe, whatever happened. Me going to jail was what I needed.
Yeah.
The psychosis needed to happen. Otherwise, who knows if I would have relapsed already. But I haven't. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm very thankful for that.
I feel our lives are so well scripted. I mean, I really do. I think God has our life so well scripted that, of course, we can't see the future, but I've gone back so many times and I've connected the dots backwards so many times, and I have realized I was being groomed for this whole time, or I was being groomed for that this whole time, or this is exactly why this happened, so I could be right here where I'm at. And Steve Jobs said it, if you connect the dots backwards of your life, you'll see you're exactly where you're supposed to be this very moment. And it would be nice to look into the future to kind of see where things go. But again, that's not for us to
To
tell.
know.
And we just live our day, right? Each day. I don't know if that's how you do your days. I mean, it sounds like you're still on your path, right? Well, we all are. We all are on this new path, right? Every day is a new path and a new journey, but still finding yourself, right?
Yeah.
As far as
At 45, I'm
at
trying to find
45.
out who I am and where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun, actually.
Isn't it a hell of a journey?
It is,
If
right?
we look at it that way, right?
It
Be
is.
grateful for it, even though the hardships are still going to be there, to be able to experience that.
It's true. And I still feel like I haven't had time to grieve completely.
Yeah.
And I have a friend at work, Rochelle. She'll be watching this at some point. She always tells me, you need to grieve. You need to take time. Go take a week. Go grieve. Go do what you need to do. Like, I can't. I have to pay bills. Like, when my mom passed, I took like maybe 2 days off and I was back.
Hmm.
Same with my brother. Same with my dad. Same with everyone. I just kept going. And I've been going ever since.
Yeah.
I'd like to get out of this survival mode at some point, but I feel like I'm getting there. And the meetings that I've been going to help me.
That's good.
I'm learning more and more about myself and why or how I ended up addicted. And maybe it was a car accident from when I was younger. Both of my parents were alcoholics, but my dad was in recovery for the time I was around him. I didn't see any of it.
Wow.
My mom told me more about it than what I ever saw. And she was an alcoholic as well. And I saw her go through domestic situations where her husbands would hit her and stuff like that. So maybe that's why I turned out how I did.
Could be.
But she did also work her ass off and take care of us
Yeah.
and do what she needed to do. We never went without. So
Just that suggestion of like what we talked about at the beginning of the show is our brains have the answers. All we got to do is ask it, you know, ask our brain, what is it, why did I go this direction, or what's causing me to feel this way or whatever, and your brain will find the answer. Not saying it'll come right away. Sometimes it does, but other times it takes times. I mean, there's still things that I'm still waiting for from months and months ago, but I just have to allow the process to go through and know that that answer will pop up when it's meant to happen.
yeah.
Kind of like our journeys, right? You have a psychosis and you go to jail. Me, I lose a 24-year career, and other people just wake up one day on the street and just realize something's going to change,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden that direction starts happening. And I don't know you very well, but what I've heard of you in the times that we've talked, and even this time on the show, and I feel like I'm right. I feel like you have a really good future ahead of you of wanting to help other individuals, and even though you may not see it yet or know exactly what that is. I mean, you're doing it right now, in all honesty. You've taken that first step just by being on the show. Somebody's going to hear this show. Somebody's going to listen to it, that it's going to resonate for them,
I
right?
hope so.
And it will.
It will. Yeah.
definitely
But that
will.
would be great.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to help someone get out of something.
Yeah. And then just think of the ripple effect that goes so much further. I say this on the show a lot too. It's like a tsunami, right? The earthquake happens thousands of miles out in the ocean. It's this little teeny wave that we don't even really notice. By the time it hits the shore, it's huge. You telling your story for the first time and being on a show like this, there's that little teeny ripple that's just starting, right?
Yeah.
Down the road here, who knows where it goes? Who knows how many people it touches and it hits, or even somebody just go, oh, I know somebody that's gone through exactly what she's gone through. I got to tell them to watch this show.
Yes.
It's that domino effect. Yeah. Gosh, we've almost gone into the whole hour. It goes by quick, huh? Yeah, it goes by really quick.
It does go by
And you seemed that you got pretty comfortable.
I did.
Good. What
There's a lot I left out, but
well, if
would be
there's
for
anything you want to share,
that
you're
would
more
be
than
for a
welcome
whole
to.
nother time, I feel like, because that would take so much longer.
Okay. Well, we can have you come back. I have people
There
come
was
back on the show a lot.
domestic stuff that happened.
Yeah.
I was on Pueblo's Most Wanted. That's a small town. They must be bored. I didn't do anything.
They must be bored.
Yeah.
You shoplift a candy bar.
Well, actually, in 2015 is when my ex-husband came to get the kids because my mom had called him and said she's lost it. She's getting too high. Come and get the kids. So he came and got them. And then a couple months later, he came and got me. Him and his new wife came and got me to help me get clean. But I went down there and I met the first tweaker I saw, no offense, at a 7-Eleven. And then I went to her house and she introduced me to her brother. Anyways, and so I still was using out there. And I had ended up with a traffic ticket that I didn't take care of. So I get pulled over, and in Pueblo, Colorado, they will take you to jail on a traffic warrant. I had never been to jail. They said, we're going to book and release you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I had stuff in my bra. I was like, okay, I'll just go down to the station. I'll be fine. I had no idea they were going to have me change my clothes out. And as I'm changing my clothes out, she's like, what's that? And I had like a bag of meth in my, just sitting right there. And she's like, oh, you're not leaving today. And they charged me with like bringing drugs into the jail. So they kept me for 3 days. And when I went to jail, my ex-husband called. I was married at the time to my second husband. He called him to come get my little one, my youngest daughter. So when I got out, she was gone. And at that point, I was just like, forget it. She's gone. These guys are with their dad out here. So I walked to my boyfriend's house that I had met over in Pueblo, my whatever. He was my boyfriend at the time. I went over there and he had introduced me to the needle and he started beating on me. So I was shooting meth and he was hitting me. And finally, one day I had it and I called my mom and I said, he's been hitting me. I've been using the needle. I need to come home. And so he went to the store or something and I walked from his house all the way to the other side of Pueblo to my ex-husband's house where my kids were at. And they put me on a bus back to Salt Lake.
Wow.
So I skipped out on my court and everything for Pueblo and I ended up on Pueblo's most wanted. Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you went through a lot because you did go through quite a bit of abuse,
Mhm.
right? If I remember from our
Even
first
in my first
conversation.
marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good guy now, but at the time we were together, he wasn't
Do you feel
always
like
so
it's
great.
because he was using as well, or
He wasn't using, he was more of a drinker.
okay?
He drank and he was never really faithful or anything. I mean, we didn't get married until 2009 after we had all three of our kids,
Yeah.
but yeah, that wasn't a great relationship either. I mean, he's doing good at this point in time,
That's
but
good.
for us, it wasn't. It was very toxic.
Well, do you find that it's hard to trust guys after all this?
Yes,
Having bad relationships and
yes.
yeah.
I've been single for 6 years and I have no desire to date or anything.
Yeah.
I just work, go home. People message me and I'm like, I'll block them. Or
Wow.
what are you doing? What do you think I'm doing? I'm going to work and I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
I'm just
Just too focused on
too
other things
focused
right
on
now.
other things and
Yeah.
stuck
Yeah.
in my ways. I feel like I'm a lot like my mom.
And how's that?
And she had been married 4 times. I've been married 3 times, but she was very just strong and determined and she just worked, paid bills, took care of her kids, and that was it. And that's where I'm
Hmm.
at right now.
Do you want to stay there?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, maybe at some point I would
You
like
want to have
to,
some freedom and have some,
I would like
your
to,
own time and
yes, I would like that, but
yeah,
I don't see
self-care.
it happening anytime soon.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see it, but right now it just,
I'll use, if I may, something that somebody did to me once. It's like, try to move that phone. So you didn't try, you did it.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm trying,
Oh, yes.
what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
almost said what I'm trying to say, but yes, what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's that word try. And I had a good friend of mine that opened my eyes with that once. We was having a conversation and there was another individual and he stopped and he says, Al, do you realize how many times you just said try in the last 10 minutes? I'm like, no. I think it was something like 20 times.
Really? I'm gonna
And
have
he
to.
said, so are you gonna do it or not? Right? There's only two options. There is no try. You either just go, no, I'm not going to do it, or yes, I'm going to do it. So it's like you're trying to get to that point, but and really how I'm seeing it by listening to you, you are doing it. You're working, you got yourself to a point right now and you're working to help get you through this point in your life right now,
Mhm.
which I don't know if that's how you want your life. Again, it's not my place to say, but if that's the direction you want to go, then that's the direction. However, I feel like so many of us, myself included at one time, all I did was work too. My job and my career was the, that was it, right? I had my wife and my kids, but I even pushed a lot of that off to the side because work was more important. now I'm at the age that I'm at, and when life started changing for me, and I realized how much life I really missed because of I was so focused on
Working.
just that one thing, And yes, we got to survive. Absolutely. We got to pay our bills and, all that fun stuff. But to be able to still have that self-care, we got to have that self-care because I don't know, again, it's just my version. God doesn't want us to be here just to be slaves to ourselves all the time, we need to enjoy life, and enjoy the time that we have here because it can be snuffed out tomorrow.
That's true.
All those times that I worked 16, 17, 18-hour days, I could have lost my life the very next day. And what good would it have done? What did it change? Nothing. Gave me some extra money. But what did I use the extra money on? Right? Did I go out and enjoy life or go do things? A lot of times I use that extra money to go buy me some Coke so I could party on Friday and Saturday night,
Right.
but still it's like, where is life right now? And yeah, I guess ever since I've gotten my 60s, I've looked at things a lot differently and gone, it's time. I've given too much of my life to other things and other individuals, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's also, there's nothing wrong with us putting ourselves first as well, because when we can have our own self-care, then we can give a lot more back to other individuals, if that's making any sense
I
anyway.
agree.
But
Yes.
yeah, there's my coach teaching a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes. I'm gonna need you to coach me more often.
Well, I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? I mean, you could share more of your story if you'd like. That's up to you.
Oh, okay. And the Pueblo's most wanted thing.
Yes. Okay.
So I think I wasn't homeless as long as I thought I was. I think it was only from 2017 till July 25th, 2019. My cousin Mateo flew me back to Colorado. Him and my mom had this idea that, okay, they're going to put you in jail, then you can get clean. So I went out there, went to court. Mind you, I took a big capsule of meth before, thinking, oh, I'm going to go to jail anyways. I might as well go high, right?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the judge. I gave my recommendation for myself. He hushed my attorney. He let her talk, is exactly what he said. And I gave my deal. And the judge took it. He recalled my warrant and he didn't even take me to jail.
Wow.
So we get back to Utah and I just keep using. And my mom's like, forget it, I'm done with you. She packed up all her stuff and she moved to my cousin Mateo's in Montana. She dropped me off at my friend's house and it's like, call me when you get better. She pretty much just left me here. I get it.
Yeah.
And that's when I ended up on the streets.
Hmm.
I was riding my bike to see my daughter one day and I met 3 homeless people on the side of the bridge and I ended up getting high with them and I ended up staying out there and not coming back until I went to jail.
Wow.
And that's that part.
Hmm.
So
You've had a hell of a ride, girl.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
we used to cook under the bridge, hot dogs.
Huh. So here, and I don't know if you know this, maybe you do know the answer to this question. Do the majority of the people who are unsheltered out there, do they use?
Yeah.
Is it the majority, pretty big majority of
Yeah,
it?
they do.
Huh.
And most of them, I wouldn't say I chose to be out there. I didn't want to leave. I didn't see no reason to leave
Yeah.
until I got scared in that psychosis. And how that even happened was I was getting high with this lady by the bridge. I just met her and she was like a devil worshiper or something. And she asked me, she said, can I blow in your mouth? And I said, yes. I don't know why, but she blew in my mouth. And I swear, I know this sounds crazy, but I could hear like my name go over my head. And it was in like a creepy, scary, like almost demon voice. And from then on, I was crazy, like instantly. I
Oh
was,
my gosh.
I was nuts. I got up, I ran, I was running from them. I thought everyone was, that's where it started.
Hmm.
And so for the last few months of being on the streets, I was in a psychosis. I even checked myself into the women's shelter in Bountiful. I lied and told them I was being abused because I wanted a place where I felt safe. But then I got in there and I was afraid of everyone in there too.
Wow.
I thought they were all involved with like witchcraft and all this crazy stuff.
That's almost like the whole beginning of your recovery,
Mhm.
that darkness
Yeah.
again to help you find the light.
And then I remember it was July 24th when I left that shelter. They told me I had to be back by a certain time, and I was like, I'm gonna go find drugs. I don't want to be here. And I went back to North Temple. I couldn't find anyone, so I was going to a friend's house, and that's when I just started freaking out that people were coming after me. And when I called the police,
Hmm.
and that was it.
My gosh. I couldn't imagine being in that state where you just feel like everyone's after you.
It was scary.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah.
And I was in it for a while. I mean, there was a few times I had gone to uni. I wouldn't tell people what I was hearing or like what I was thinking, but I would just tell them I was suicidal, homicidal, so they would take me somewhere. So that's on my hospital records now too. I'm like, I really wasn't. I just said
Yeah.
it.
Well, you do what you do to have to survive,
Mhm.
right? That's something that somebody told me once because when my wife was living on the streets and I found her once and brought her back home and well, more than once, picked her up and brought her back home. And she was telling me that she met a guy on tracks and he put her up for a couple of days. I was pissed. I'm like, did you know this person? And she's like, no. I'm like, the are you doing? Right? I mean, he could have raped you, he could have beat you, he could have sold you for sex. I mean, what the hell? And I was talking to a buddy of mine who lived on the streets at one time in Ogden. And he said, look, I know it's hard for you to understand because you've not been there. There's times you do what you do to feel like what you need to do to survive. You know you got a 50-50 chance, but you're willing to take that chance.
It's
And
true.
and I went, man, I never really thought of it that way because I'm looking at it on my point, right? But I mean, it was still scary. I was still a little upset, but it did help me understand a lot more of where you're at when you're at that point. I've not been there, thank goodness. I don't understand. And having individuals like yourself and so many others that come on and share these stories, right, to help myself and other people understand that it's not easy. And there's sometimes you do things that you really don't want to do, but it's survival time. And we all know humans as when it comes to survival, we'll do whatever we need to,
Yeah,
right? We'll do whatever the hell we need to,
that is
especially if
true.
it's protecting our family or our kids or something. We'll do whatever needs to be done to make things happen. But we forget that for other individuals that are in a certain part of their life that we're not. And so I think more of us need to open our eyes and see that and do our best to understand it, even though we may not understand it to the fullest, probably not ever, because we've not walked those shoes, but still to get something
Yes,
out of it. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And it sounds like God was with you quite a bit
Oh yeah,
through this journey,
for
even
sure.
through the psychotic stuff, right? I can't even say it right.
Psychosis.
Thank you. Like, yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, to even help you get through that without, because a lot more damage could have been done.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hmm.
I know when I was on the streets, there was one person who I remember when I first got out there. His name, I don't know if you've heard about him, Eli Herrera.
Mm-mm.
He's he's someone that I met while I was out there, but he's actually related to my kids. We found out later, and I still talk to him. But he fed me on the streets. He always made sure I had food. He used to always tell me, go home to your kids. You don't belong out here. But like he would always come and check on me and make sure I was okay,
Wow.
bringing food and whatnot. And we still go have lunch like once a month. We talk a lot. And
That's cool.
he's a really good friend of mine.
One of those angels, huh?
Yeah. And he'll go feed all of them at 7-Eleven sometimes or just check on him. He's a good person. Gotta give him credit because he was out there checking on me while I was out there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That there are individuals doing that. Now here you are, one of those angels.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. Seriously, you are one of those
Thank
angels
you.
out there helping other individuals, just even by sharing what you've shared today.
That's what I want to do. I would like to put something together to go help, go feed them, give them clothes, give them positive words, encouragement.
Yeah.
And I know when I was out there, when people would come, I didn't want to hear it. But I'm sure it can help someone.
Yeah.
Someone out there will be ready to hear it. And if not, they'll remember what was said or
You're planting the seed, right? All you're doing is planting it. Yeah. Well, I've got people too, that I've known just because of the show and that my friend Michelle Peacock. I don't know if you know her. She does a lot. She gathers up clothes and different things like that and goes and hands them out, especially to a lot of women who are just working on getting their life back on track and different things. Whenever you're interested, let me know. I can do an introduction. Michelle's gone through a lot herself in life, come off the streets, and now she's doing a lot of stuff. She started her own nonprofit called Michelle Cares.
really.
She's out there doing a lot of cool stuff. And a lot of times my mom's gathering up a lot of stuff and she'll give Michelle a call. Hey, I got this and this and this. Could you use it? And Michelle will come and pick it up and then go hand it out to whatever women and some men. There are some men, mostly women that she works with though, that helps out.
I would like to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All kinds of different ways, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off?
Nothing I can think of.
Nothing you can think
Nothing
of?
I can think of
Okay.
right now. No.
Well, thank you
If
for
I
your
do, I'll
time.
have to get back to you.
Yeah, please do. I mean, like I said, I just had a gal on my show last week. Her show just came out Monday, but last Friday she was on my show for the second time, and she was on it about 3 years ago. And I reached out to her and said, "Hey, I've been watching you, keeping an eye on it. Looks like life has really changed for you." And now she's a life coach now, and yeah, so she came on and told a little bit more about her story and where she's gone since being in recovery and where she's at and how good life is and still how challenging, right? Life still throws the challenges at us, or shit balls, as I like to say.
Shit balls.
Yeah. But is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off? Anything inspiring or something?
If you're still in active addiction, you can get through it.
Tell them.
You can recover. It is possible. It is worth it. The time that you'll have with your loved ones is worth it. Everything is worth recovery. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and you can do it too.
I love it. Great advice. Well, again, my dear, thank you so much for taking time out of your day
You're
to
welcome.
be on the show.
Thank you for having me. I
Oh,
was so
absolutely.
nervous.
Yeah. You're not now.
I know.
Well, I love it. And it was cool to do this live. If you guys have noticed, this is actually live, not on Zoom. So when I reached out to Raven, she goes, I would rather do it in person than through Zoom. So that's why we're doing it. We're here at my good friend's coffee shop in West Jordan, High Point Coffee. So thank you, Steve, for allowing me to use your little break room here to be able to do this show. This is the second time. And matter of fact, I've got another one that's coming up here in a few weeks that she said the same thing. She goes, I don't want to do it on Zoom. I'd rather do it in person. So I'll be here. I don't know. We'll be here in maybe another month or so that we're going to be doing another live show. But
Nice.
I also want to throw out there before we sign off, guys, I am actually thinking about totally remarketing everything about the podcast. I may be changing the name and doing a big, huge, just clean of the house and like starting all over. And it's mostly because I'm really starting to work towards getting my coaching going. And I'd like to combine all of it together in it. And instead of having one entity and another entity. So anyway, you guys may be seeing a change coming up. Again, it's still something I'm kind of working on and figuring out if it's the right direction to go. But I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. Before we sign off, I want to say thank you again to everyone. Thank you to all our, thank you first of all to our sponsors, Emergo Academy, Dave and Susan Kenny. You guys are awesome. I love you guys to pieces, man. Thank you for everything you've done. Guys, seriously, check out emergoacademy.com. That's EMERGO recoveryacademy.com. I'd like to thank all our past guests and future guests. Thank you for taking time to want to be on the show and share your story. And most of all, thank you to all your listeners. This show wouldn't be going as long as it has if it wasn't for you. We're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.